Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again. We got some interesting things to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. First things first, I got to give a big shout out to my brother, Mr. Smith. Roughly about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, he sent me a link to a video wherein this up and coming Filipino rapper by the name of Easy Mill did this thing on Wish USA. So he was just rapping over his song on Wish USA, and I got it. I think the song is dope. All right. I think the song is great. I think the song is fantastic. It's a song wrapped in 3 different languages, and recently of this year, it has gone viral, even though the song came out, I think, sometime last year, maybe even a couple of years back, right? I like this kid. And recently, the controversy, again, this is kind of old, though I'm covering it a little bit late, but I needed an approach to the topic at hand before I was able to deliver it to the audience the way that I believe it needed to be delivered. But he was going through some controversy because he said some things that were historically inaccurate, right? I think he said that Lapu-Lapu died when in actuality he was victorious in the battle somewhere in Cebu. If you're not up on Philippine history, it's not going to make any sense to you. But there is an article that I'm going to list in the description area below that details and outlines everything in a way wherein I couldn't do it any justice. But today I wanted to talk to you about Ezekiel Miller, aka Easy Mill. I like the kid. I've listened to some other of his music. Think he's pretty good. All right. So let's get into the controversy and the reason that I wanted to cover this young man today. All right. So as I share my screen with you guys real quick, I want to share with you the article and that we are going to reference today so that you guys get an idea of exactly what we're going to be talking about. So Easy Mill and the song Panalo, which is the trap Cariñosa. Basically why this song, why the rapper's controversial Pinoy Pride anthem has gone viral. Now, I don't want to talk about it from the Filipino standpoint. I don't want to talk about it from the Filipino historical standpoint, but there was something in this particular song that stood out the most to me. And I don't want anybody to get mad at me for laughing at it, but I want you to understand why I personally believe that no matter how hard this young man tries, he is not going to be Filipino. All right. So there was a lyric in the song, if you can follow on with the boy right here. In the reaction video, Easy Mill also explains the controversial line, "I'm not Tisoy, I am Pinoy." Tisoy refers to mixed Filipino and other foreign ancestries. Okay. We'll get into that part in a minute. We'll lock in and we'll try to dissect it a little bit more, but let's go over here to an article that I want to share with you guys, which specifically says, as we can speak, let me zoom in on this part right here for you guys so that you can see it. Clearly, it says that Easy Mill is the American persona of Ezekiel Miller, a half Filipino, half Caucasian, who was born in Olongapo in 1998. He moved to the city of California 4 years ago. And as it says here, he is adamant and convicted that, look, guys, I am Pinoy, I am Filipino. Don't try to say I am anything else. But if you haven't seen the kid, this is a picture of the young man right here. Now, it's not a great image. I'm sorry. He's not looking his best. Let me try to scroll up a little higher. I think there's a better image of the young man. White-skinned kid. All right? White-skinned kid. That's the only way to look at the young man. He's a white-skinned kid, and it does not help him at all. I repeat, if his real name is Ezekiel Miller, it does not help this young man at all that his last name is Miller. There is no Filipino on earth with the last name Miller. I mean, if you're really pure Filipino, there's no way on this earth that your last name is going to be Miller. Trust me, Filipino names, it don't float that way. But and if that's truly his last name and not a rap persona name, Miller doesn't do him any service as well. But let me read what the article has to say, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I feel this young man is not going to be Filipino no matter how hard he tries. Okay? Not to mention that his last name is Miller, but we'll break it down a little bit for you guys. But again, the word Tisoy refers to someone of mixed Filipino and other ancestries. Easy said that he was teased a lot growing up because he looks like a Caucasian Filipino or a Caucasian Pinoy. He found it difficult to fit in amongst other kids as he grew up in the Philippines because they thought that they had to speak English around him because of his fair complexion. All right. And then it goes on to dissect the history of the Spanish colonization and all about, what the white skin means. And it's, oh my God, it's like, preferential treatment and things like that. Colonial mentality also manifests itself in how the mestizo, a term synonymous with Tisoy and Filipino society, than the morena, dark-skinned Filipinos. Okay. Read the article. It'll tell you everything that you need to know. First and foremost, before we get into my thoughts, let me show you what his father looks like. This man looks like Prince. Okay. This is his dad. His dad's name is Paul Cipiera, I believe, something to that effect. That's that man daddy. Excuse me. I don't click too many buttons playing around. That man look like Prince. Got the Jerry curl and everything. Old school player, man. I love it. I think it is completely awesome. But if you look at him here, then he couldn't deny that child even if he wanted to. The white skin, it is what it is. All right. Now back to the article at hand. So here is the first thing that I thought about, and I'm just going to keep this picture up here for the time being. Here was the first thing that I thought about when I first read this article. And pardon me for laughing, but here is why I feel it's going to be extremely difficult for him to be accepted amongst the Filipino community. Now, of course, Filipinos accept him. He rocks. He rides with them. He's going to be Filipino, and Filipinos, as long as you rock with them, they will rock with you back. That's not the point. But in my community, the Black community, and I want to talk about this one because I believe that you'll be able to relate and you'll be able to connect where I'm trying to go with this one. But in the Black community, there is this thing called LSP, or what we like to refer to it as light-skinned privilege. Okay. Now, it sucks that I have to come up with it from this analogy, but it's the only analogy that comes to mind. But back in the day during slavery times, people who look like me, we worked in the field, and the caramel mulatto, the light-skinned African Americans worked in the house. They was the house Negroes. Okay. And that's the only way that I can explain this so that you guys are able to pick up what I'm putting down. So you would say that in the Black community, the light-skinned women or the light-skinned men, they get preferential treatment, and people who look like me or a little bit darker than me, we don't get those same type of privileges. Needless to say. So as I was listening to this man adamantly talking about, yo, man, I'm Filipino, man. I'm Filipino. I ain't nothing else. I might be Caucasian, but I'm Filipino, man. I'm Filipino. I grew up in the Philippines. Philippines is all I ever know. It reminded me a lot of like my light-skinned friends and how my light-skinned friends go above and beyond to quote unquote prove their Blackness to their Black friends. What do I mean by this one? So at the height of this whole Black Lives Matter situation, the George Floyd situation, like my light-skinned friends were going hard. Like they were going hard in the yard, and signs, protesting, picketing everywhere, almost as if they had to show their people that they were down for the cause. And ideally, I'm going to be honest with you, man. My dark-skinned friends are people who look like me. We do tease our light-skinned friends. We'd be like, that's that light-skinned privilege. Oh, we don't like you light-skinned folk. And it's a joke, but it's reality because, sometimes if you think back in the past, preferential treatment has always been given to the light or the whiter skin African Americans, no different than the whiter skin complexion Filipinos too. It's the same rules, the same effect applies. The lighter your skin, somewhat, the more preferential treatment you are required, that you might likely receive. Okay. So with my light-skinned friends, it always seemed like they were always trying to prove that they were Black enough. Like they had to prove that they fit in. Like this is the community I want to be a part of. This is the community that I need to be a part of. This is where I am. This is where I feel. This is where I identify. because I've had some friends that were black and white. Some of them, can relate more with their white side than their black side, and vice versa. You have some that can relate more to their black side than their white side. So they would try their damnedest to try to fit in with their black side if they felt that's where they identify most with. And I admit it's fucked up sometimes to have mixed kids because they may have a issue with fitting into whatever community. Like this kid here, maybe his, and I'm not saying this to be racist or I'm not saying this to be rude, but work with me. But maybe if you look at him, maybe his white friends may be like, well, you look like us, but maybe your eyes don't represent our eyes or some shit. Maybe your eyes are too Asian to be white. And I'm not saying that to be racial, just rock with me. Or with your Filipino friends, your skin is just too white for us to be able to relate to you. So you do have moments wherein these kids can't fit in. They just don't fit in, or they struggle to fit in. And during that particular struggle to fit in, what do? They try their best to go above and beyond to be a part of that community. So he's Filipino, grew up in the Philippines. Granted, he may look the part, the white skin mestizo, the whatever you want to call it. He's always going to have that struggle. And I don't think that he was teased growing up. But then again, I can see how he was teased growing up. Bro, you too white to be hanging around with us brown kids, or you don't necessarily fit in with us, right? It said it in the article here. I'm going to try to go back to it. He said that he was teased a lot growing up because he looks like a Caucasian Pinoy. And I can see that happening because you got dark-skinned people who tease the light-skinned kids. And vice versa, you got light-skinned kids who tease the black kids. It's a part. I don't know why it is this way, but it is what it is. All right. So when I tell you that I don't think this kid will be Pinoy no matter how hard he tries, simply for that reason alone, they will never be able to relate to him. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that he came from a music family or his dad was this, and that could play a part too. I shouldn't say that it doesn't, but the fact that his father was this star in the Philippines and they had some hits, and apparently his mom is associated with the industry as well. He'll never be one of them, no matter how hard he tries. He'll probably never be accepted, no matter how hard he tries. Now, he'll be Filipino and he'll be Pinoy, let's be real, but he'll never be able to fit in like I think he wants to fit in with this community. There's very few things that you can do to fit into your community when you look the way that you do. Because I hate to say it, but it's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. You are defined by your skin complexion. You will always be defined by your skin complexion. Once they get to know you and maybe they may change their mind about you, even me, I might look the part. I might look like I'm about that action, but I'm not. Once you get to know me, I'm just a regular human being. I can put on my white voice, I can code switch with the best of them. You guys know that. But ideally, it's going to be harder for him to fit in, mainly because nobody can relate to him. You know what I'm saying? And the only people that can relate to him and his come up and his upbringing and things like that are people probably within the industry who have famous parents or people who grow up looking the way that he does. That's going to be the group of people he's always going to be able to relate to the most. That's why, to an extent, I see a lot of my light-skinned friends having light-skinned friends, right? Because you're going to be around the people who can relate to your struggle. So you growing up being teased, and I'm pretty sure you were, because, that just comes with the territory, because kids are fucking evil. They're deviant, and they're all jacked up. We know this. Everybody know kids are all messed up, man. They have no chill. They're mad. They're angry all the time, whatever it may be. Let me stop off here, because I think I've touched everything that I wanted to. But what you'll start to realize is, kids is bad. Kids is bad. And they going to have their feelings. They going to be in their feelings. They going to say what's on their mind. Even adults. But back to my point, because I think that I missed on telling you what it is. But basically, granted, I do believe he's always going to be defined by his skin complexion. Why? Because that's the first thing that we see when we see anybody. We look at their physical aesthetics. We look at what they look like. If you look like me, you identify me as that's a black man. You see him, he looks Asian, but his skin is white. So you may be confused, right? You see a dark skin, morena skin, Filipina. Yeah, that's a Filipino woman. Now, you may not know that by just looking at him, but ideally you get the point. You see a white guy, you say, okay, I can recognize him as a white guy. We don't know if he's Irish. We don't know if he's European or whatever. But right now we're looking at him and we can identify him as a white guy. Even with your light-skinned mulatto African Americans, they iffy. Are they mixed or are they just light-skinned or whatever? So you have questions. You don't exactly know how to identify them. And as a result, for this particular young man, I just feel like no matter how hard he tries, he wants to fit in and be Filipino so bad. I just don't think he'll be able to make that vibe. I don't think he'll be able to make that transition. You can say all day long, I am Tisoy, I am not Pinoy. You can say it. You can say it till you're blue in the face, bruh. I just feel like it's going to be harder for you to fit in. There's really nothing you can do about that. And that's okay. It comes with the territory, young man. It comes with growing up. You'll be all right. Right? You good looking kid, man. You will be okay. I promise you. Right? I don't think he'll like when I say he's going to struggle to fit in, I just believe that people are naturally going to have that hesitancy of the, oh, I got to speak in English because this kid's last name is Miller or he looks like a white kid that I feel like, oh, he probably speaks good English and I don't speak good English, so I'm scared to speak English with this kid. He's going to have that problem everywhere that he goes because looks are intimidating. No different than when Filipinos see me. Oh my God, nosebleed coming. Oh, this foreigner speaks English and my English is not good. And now I have to transition to speaking English. Oh my God, I am scared. I am nervous. Comes with the territory. But do I feel like he really is going to have an issue? No, he's Filipino. He says he's Filipino. That is good enough for the Filipino people. I do agree. I do believe that in my heart of hearts. That's no different. And I'm going to leave you with this. That's no different than this dude, Jalen Green. Y'all know who Jalen Green is, but if you're not familiar with Jalen Green is a Filipino. No, I can't even call him that. I don't know what his race is. Don't get me to twisted, but he had this much Filipino in his blood. But they were trying to claim him in the upcoming NBA draft. Kid can ball his ass off, though. He's really good. I give him credit where credit is due. And he's a good-looking kid, and he looks like he's a likable character. His name is Jalen Green. He just got drafted, I believe. Or the upcoming draft, he's in it, if he hasn't been drafted already. And like I said, the kid, he's got the look. But the thing about Filipinos is if you're even remotely part Filipino, they're going to claim you. Look at what they did with, what's his name, Jordan Peterson? Was that his name? The one that used to play with LeBron? Jordan Clarkson, my bad. Jordan Clarkson. Look at what they did with him. They pushed him so damn hard in the Philippines. It was ridiculous. Putting them in Heineken commercials because all of this was happening while I was still living in the Philippines at that time. Was I living there or just visiting? Either or. I think I was living there still at that time. But they were pushing Jordan Clarkson, man, hard, heavy because of his partial Filipino blood. So if you got any Filipino blood in you, Filipinos will claim all of you regardless. But ideally, I just don't think he should try as hard to fit in. I know why he does it because again, I can relate it to my light skin, mulatto, caramel complexion, counterparts of my particular community. But ideally, man, that man got to live his best life, man. And that was just a quick topic of conversation, quick tidbit about the young man. I think the man makes pretty good music, and I think that man's going to make some serious waves. I think he is now based in Las Vegas, so he's back in the United States, and he's actually probably going to try to make a nice run at a career, and I pray that it works for him. I do believe that his music will definitely pop off in the Philippines, no doubt in my mind. How much radio play and how much he gets recognition in the United States has yet to be seen. I pray it works out, but ideally, I do believe he'll be more popping in the Philippines than anything. else. All right, that's my video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to show your thank you and say, Doc, you know what, this video won't have bad, man. I can pick up what you were putting down, and I can make the connections that you were trying to give to me. There's a heart in the corner that says thank you. If you want to show your thanks, man, I'd highly appreciate that one. If you don't, stick with the like, drop a like, because likes are free. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun. It has been real, but it's time for the good doc to go and get. With that being said, good doc is officially out. At least not go alone, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Mahakita. Mabuhay. Peace.